I want to pivot into the From Where I Sit segment, one of my favorite segments of the show, partly because it's unscripted. You all submitting questions that our producers filled. And so please, I encourage you all to continue to submit questions to us on our YouTube channel and through social media platforms. I don't get a chance to read these questions, even though our producers encourage me to do this every week. But I did promise them that I would be honest, and I did promise them that I would try to offer a sense of brevity in my response. And so without further ado, let's go ahead and jump in. All right, let's see. The first question is, how do I know if my type is healthy? That's a good question. I mean, so here's the thing. If I had to liken types to diets, right? I can't tell you what is healthy for you. I only know my body. I only know me. I can speak for me. And so you can only know if your type is healthy for you. You can only know whether or not you can take the keto diet or whether or not you are on a paleo diet or whether or not you can do a Mediterranean diet. Like that's what you know about yourself. And so I think that you have to figure out, I guess, if whether or not this type is adding value or whether or not it's subtracting value. I think that that's how I would determine whether or not your type is healthy for you. But I can't tell you that. But you have to know what's adding value to your life. And you also have to know what's subtracting value from your life. And so that if I had to determine, right, whether or not a type was healthy for me, I would be basing it on that. Because if we're not moving forward, we're moving backwards. Period. The second question is, can your type evolve? I think so. I think, that's the joy of dating, right? I do think that as you start to date people, you start to learn more and more about what your type is and what your type is not. You start to learn more about what it is that you may be willing to deal with and what you are not willing to deal with, right? Or whether or not you like people who chew with their mouth open or not. Like, I think you just start to learn more about people. And that's all it really boils down to, right? Is that the more you go out on dates, I think that's what dating and courting is. Dating and courting is all about learning people. And so, yes, I do think your type can, or your attraction can evolve, but I think that with exposure, it can do that. One thing I often remind myself, I remember asking myself, my grandmother this some time ago, and I was just like, why y'all go find something else? If the men were out here just living life the way that they were living, being Rolling Stones. And, the thing is back then you didn't really know you had options. And so that's why I say courting and dating is, I think, important because it allows you to see what options are available. And so, yeah, I do think your type can evolve or your attraction can evolve. The next question is, how do you separate preference from prejudice? Preferences from prejudice. I don't know. And I can't say that I've necessarily mastered that. I can't necessarily say that I've mastered that. I ask myself that question all the time. So I don't necessarily know. I don't have an answer to that. Sure. How do you separate preference from prejudice? You wanted me to read it again to do what? Oh, okay. No, I was like, I froze to see what you wanted me to do with that. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. You just like read it again. Yeah, I don't know how I separate preference from prejudice. I don't know if I don't know. I didn't know I was being prejudiced, to be honest with you. And so I never really thought about myself as being prejudiced. Yeah. How do you? Who the hell asked me that? So how do you stop repeating the same dynamic? I do think that in order for one to stop repeating the same dynamic, you have to be self-aware. And I do think that that's what a lot of people lack. And a lot of people don't want to know about themselves. They don't want to be self-aware because if you are self-aware, I think that the work comes with having to fix the problem. But I do think that like that's where you get to the stopping of repeating the same dynamics in your relationships or the people that you're developing relationships with. I definitely think that it's about being aware of who you are. And if you're aware of who you are, then you can also be aware of who you want and what you want. And the last question is, how do I know I actually like them or just like how we look? I mean, I think that's a good question. And it's hard for me to answer that because I've never been in a situation where I've dated someone who it was all like, it was about, I think, is that what you're focusing on? Like, if you're asking yourself, are our babies going to look cute? Like, if that's all you're thinking about, or how you look together and how you look in pictures, but you don't know nothing about this person, do you even know their family? Do you know anything about, like, are you taking a chance to get to know who they are beyond just what they look like? I think that's how you know if you actually like them. And once you get to know them beyond the aesthetics, are you still attracted to them? Hell, sometimes you learn after having sex with somebody, you're not attracted to them. So I just say all that to say, it's like, are you learning about who they are? Are you beyond the gaze of their aesthetic? And once you get beyond that, I think that you should be able to see a little bit more clearly, maybe not fully clearly, but a little bit more clearly about whether or not you like them beyond what they look like.